Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is Kinesiology-234, and as noted in our previous WebEx, I did state that I would go ahead and have content that we would have, even in-class content. I would try to do a brief synopsis and have a presentation, online. And these will be the same slides we will use in class in the in-person environment. But I'm just going to kind of truncate a few things and zip through these rather quickly just so they are more supportive to what we're going to go over in the classroom environment. Now, excuse me, a couple things. We know we're back on campus, which is fantastic, and we have lab from 8 to 8:50 for our class, and then we have lecture from 9 to 9:50. And what I'm looking for, as I noted in my WebEx, and you'll see here, is during that lab time, I'm looking for you guys to partner up for that session. Partner one, partner two, partner one, partner two. And as you guys partner up, complete a workout together. And, take turns picking an exercise. If it's, National Chest Day, then go ahead. One person picks one chest exercise, the other person picks the next exercise. And just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm looking for a little bit of a collaborative effort, and I'm looking for you guys to be able to work together. Also get your hands on each other to kind of work on spotting. It's a nice non-threatening environment. And the big thing is, I'm working under the presumption that you guys all know each other. Um, if, for example, there is an issue where you just don't know everybody in class or you don't know your partner, I would advise getting to the facility a couple minutes early and be at the front desk in the actual fitness facility so you can greet the person you're supposed to work with, because you're going to be confronted with that in a fitness facility. You'll have to wait at the front desk to see when John Doe checks in. You have to just put the hand right out and say, "How you doing? My name is Adrian. How you doing, John? I'm your trainer today. Welcome to the gym." And that's going to be part of what you do, and that's part of that relationship building process. And practice the components of good coaching. That is exercise selection, providing a description, provide a demonstration, also articulate number of reps and sets you're looking for, and be able to start that process to really think in terms of having somebody in front of you who needs that type of guidance. All right, John, we're going to do 3 sets of 10. The exercise is dumbbell bench press. Let me demo it for you real quick so you can see how to get in and out of the exercise, and I can give you a couple technique pointers and safety tips before you jump in. You don't have to, overwhelm them with information because they'll forget 90% of it at that point, but maybe 4 good bullet points that they can use during the exercise itself and be able to have them emulate what you just demoed and actually be able to perform the exercise in a safe manner. That's really what you're after. So the big thing is when you do the initial consultations that we're going to do in class, which is really what I'm after in the lecture section. So after our workouts, I want you guys to come back into the actual classroom, and we'll go over this. And the initial consultation, we're looking for a couple things here. One of which is just some real simplistic drivers and motivation tools. We'll dig further into this, but these are like really the simplest ones. And also we'll talk a little bit in terms of public speaking versus one-on-one, and we'll do some partner consultations in front of the class as well. And I think you're going to find it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking, but what you'll find is when you get in front of your first client, that won't be nerve-wracking, which is really the goal of the class, is for you guys to be prepared. So I want you to get back together with your workout partner for this. And so what we're going to do is, with the workout partner, there'll be a series of questions that'll pop up to the right. And when we do this, it's real simple. I mean, I'm not even talking fitness stuff at this point. John, what's your favorite color? John says purple. All right, John, well, why don't you go ahead and tell me why this is your favorite color? And usually they'll say, like, well, I don't know, it's something I've always liked. I always liked this color. And it's something where they can't really give you a description of why they like it until you ask them what they associate that color with. Well, man, I tell you, I really always liked the color purple. And then I ended up going to UW Whitewater, and Whitewater's colors were purple and gold and white. And, I couldn't have been happier because, I was playing sports and I'm wearing a uniform that's purple, and it really just was something that resonated with me. And there's many times a psychological, emotional reason why they like that color. And to ask them just what is their favorite color and they really can't give you an answer is pretty typical. But when you start to ask them to associate an emotional side to it and what they associate that color with, it changes, even though you're asking the same thing, it changes the context of the question and it will change the context of their answer. Now you get into, okay, if you had to choose either a cat or a dog for a pet, which one would you choose? Cat or dog? And many people be like, cat, dog. And somebody will say, can I choose an iguana? You're like, no, no, no. Or if they really push, then you'd be like, yeah, fine, you can pick an iguana. That's fine. Well, when you ask them these questions, then it goes into what breed, what specific breed. Oh my God, I absolutely love Rottweilers. I don't know, I'm just kind of come up with something here. Okay, great. Well, can you tell me, why would you choose first a dog over a cat? And the person will usually say, well, I like cats because they're this, or I like dogs because they're that, or I like having a bird at my house because of this, or I like my iguana because of that. And they can kind of articulate this a little bit better as opposed to color. And when you get into the next question, how would you describe the pet that you chose? Uh, my two pit bulls at home. Oh, they're the most loving animals. I can't even tell you the reputation that pit bulls have. And what these dogs are completely different. They're so, so amazing. And they'll start to articulate that a little bit better. So you would never use these questions when you sit down in an initial consultation with your client. And I'm asking you today in this session to go ahead and work through these questions with each other because I want you to see the mechanics of these questions and see how, as you go through each question, it changes the context of the question you're asking, and it also will change the context of the answer that you're going to receive. Now, if we take that a step further and we go into an initial consultation and you're sitting at the table, and these are questions that I use quite regularly. All right, so John, looking at you, I mean, did you play sports when you were growing up? I mean, it's hard for me to tell. I mean, were you active when you were growing up? I mean, did you have a history of working out and fitness? Oh my God, yeah. I played football and I ran track. Okay, well, okay, that's great. That hits my next question here. So with those sports, I mean, what position did you play in football? Actually, I played defensive back, and you said you ran track, right? Yeah, I ran 400. Well, those are a little bit different, right? Because football is very explosive, and as a defensive back, you have some skills you have to use. Yeah, I was very athletic in terms of the movement, et cetera, and the 400 was a bit grueling. Did you notice some changes, like when you were going from one sport to the other? Well, yeah, I would normally drop about 10 pounds when I'd go into track and run 400. Okay. Well, for each of these sports, then, I mean, how far did you go? Like high school level or, college? Oh yeah, yeah. I was a two-sport athlete in college. I played football and I ran track. I was defensive back and I ran the 400, both indoor and outdoor. Okay. All right, cool. I mean, were you successful at it? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was a starter, defensive back, and then also I qualified for conference in the 400. Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty darn good. I mean, you're painting me a pretty clear picture of like your background, your experiences, etc. Um, like, what do you do now? Like, what styles of workout do you do now then? I mean, you can't do pickup football. Well, no, 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 football, that dream is dead. That's a goner. But I still go out, I go for runs, and I enjoy working out, and I enjoy kind of like the physical challenges of working out. All right, cool, cool, I got it. So if we take this a step further, what's really going on here is, as a practitioner, I'm hearing somebody who and they probably had a somatotype that was very athletic, low body fat. They were probably very explosive, type 2B, right? Fiber type, perhaps a 400 type 2X. I don't know. And if they're running 400 and they're playing college level football, you know that they can handle the grind and the grueling nature of a hard workout. And it won't be something that they'll be turned off to. That might actually very much resonate with them, that burning in the lungs, the heaviness in their legs, the huffing and puffing that they'll have in a workout, because it might take them back to a place they once were 20 years ago when they were playing football or coming around that last 100 meters on that curve in the 400. So, you're really tapping into something that's a little bit different here, and it helps not only paint a clear picture, but it paints a clearer picture of the person they once were and what they actually were able to do. And I want you to try this with each other. Let's go ahead and work through this. So we'll go ahead in class and I'll have you guys pause this, and we'll pause this in class right here. But I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next slide for a presentation right now. So when you look at these, this is the list to the left that we went over. You're kind of now looking at in terms of, were they on the more explosive side, or were they an All-American college or collegiate All-American in the 5K or 10K, right? More endurance versus explosiveness. Oh no, I was a shot putter. I was national champion thrower. Oh, well, that's totally different. What level, right? Did they drop out of PAFA, high school, college? Did they make it to Olympics? Were they a professional athlete? Believe me, I've had people sit across from me who are professional athletes. And that will help dictate like what type of work ethic they have, and also dictate what type of, well, ceiling they have as well. Starter, were you an all conference, were you all state? Well, that kind of paints a clearer picture. Somebody who qualified for conference in track and field in the 400 in college kind of gives you a picture of somebody who has a solid motor, who enjoys working out, doesn't mind the grind and burn and the lactic acid discomfort that you get from running that race. All right, so that's something a little different. So now what do you got going on? I mean, just like running a 5K every once in a while and you throw some weights around, or are you more like a high intensity dude or dudette? And that makes it different. So, you're trying to gain more of an insight regarding the person and like their physical abilities, of course, right? Whether they're a 5,000 meter runner or they throw shot put, those are different ends of the spectrum, as you know from our coursework here. And then you know if somebody was an elite level, perhaps all conference or national qualifier for 400 or 5,000 meters, they got a motor, they can work at a high level, that the other part of this is if you start to take somebody through a program and you're able to nudge them back to that area where you're working them hard enough, it's going to take them back both psychologically and emotionally, and they'll have a point of reference. They'll have a point of reference regarding what they were once able to do when they were 20 years old, although the person sitting in front of you might be 40 years old. I guarantee you that takes them back to that place, 100%. So you start to frame up a picture of the person and what they can do, but also what they were once able to do, and you're able to kind of walk them back down that path. So when you meet with a client, you're trying to get the clearest picture possible regarding their physical abilities and their motivations for working out. And part of that is sometimes their motivations include being able to go back to where they once were, although none of us actually can. But you know what? There's a little itty bitty part of us that we all hold inside, and we all hold inside that we want to get back to the place where we played football in college and we ran 400 and qualified, for a conference. I mean, those are places that people want to get back to because they're a touchstone. And, you look at the objective evaluations like the PAR-Qs, and you look at things like health history questionnaire, and then you get into something like sorry for 1 second here, got a little hang up. Sorry about that. Phone started ringing. And a FMS screen. Those are very much used to determine contraindications to exercise. But when you're sitting down, you're talking with somebody, and you're going through that relationship building process, and you're talking with them, part of the skill is be able to subjectively evaluate what's going on. I talked a little bit about that in the physical realm. And then the conversational tone that you have with the person, and it's just the simple things that we went over today, just as foundational tools, those help to paint a more clear or clearer subjective picture of the person that's sitting across from you and what makes them tick. So we're going to break from here in class, and I'm going to have you guys go ahead and practice this a couple more times because I'm really keen on having you guys have a good understanding of that type of evaluation. All right, guys, thank you so much. Signing off.